Hello, everybody. It's Alexis, and we're doing the World Collaboration Collective interview series. And I'm here with Marina today, and we're talking businesses and family, a little bit of that, and our vision for our life and how we want to show up. So, Marina, how are you today?
I'm excellent. And how are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you. So, Marina, tell me a little bit. I believe you've got 3 businesses, you busy lady.
Yes, I have 3 businesses, which I've culled down because I've had others in the past. My background is that I'm pushing 50, and I've got 4 kids, and I have basically needed to be at home because hubby works away from home. So my businesses have always revolved around the family, and ironically, my main role as a nanny and a family organiser have been based in other people's homes as well. So I'm like a home specialist. And the majority of my clients in the last 10 years of my nanny career, because I did it for 30 years, but finally pulled my feet out of the sandpit. In the last 10 years, I was working for a lot of home-based business owners because it's one of those roles that a lot of nannies will stay away from because it's quite hard when the kids know that you're behind the closed door and the kids just want to come into mum and dad, that you do need a special understanding, if you like, of that relationship and how to support the child and the parent and how to make all of that work. But one of the great things out of that was that I was able to end up working in their businesses. So instead of folding, washing and doing cleaning while the kids were asleep, the parents would often drag me into the office because they'd find out Marina can use the phone, she can do phone calls, she's great at research, all those sorts of things. So over the years, I started off with a nanny agency, and that morphed into a resource service. And from there, and then the home organising, and then the cleaning and organising, which has been fun. And then hanging out on forums. I ended up talking to a lot of baby and children's retailers, and they just needed support. I kept answering questions about marketing all the time. I didn't realise I was a natural at it, and with this organising brain, that all fitted in together, and that's where I play now. So helping people create their visions, whether it be in their family life or in their business life, and just helping them create systems and structures to actually help them bring that all into reality, which has been loads of fun.
Beautiful. Sorry, there's a bit of noise.
Yeah, no, it's puppies. I'm waiting for my chooks to start cackling because I have a hen who, she's only just joined the family. She usually tries to lay an egg right next to the door, and she always kicks up a raucous when she does it. So, that's, sort of family life. Anything can happen.
No, got the mailman, so of course the dogs start going.
Yeah.
All right, so that was one particular business. What else is going on? We're talking about visions and helping other entrepreneurs you talked a little bit about, I want to hear more about that particular vision that you have.
Okay, one of my businesses is my Business Angels, and I have, for the past 30 years, I've basically been supporting mums with their own businesses, whether they be corporate businesses or if it's just the stay-at-home mum who doesn't want to go back to work, but she started working as a consultant, or she's had this little dream in the background, and pregnancy tends to do that to you. And there's many mums who decide, yes, I'm going to go back to work at 6 weeks and this is going to be really easy, and then they get handed this baby and it's like, I don't want to hand it on to anyone else. So, and I don't want to be very far away from them. So, I've had many jobs where mums have left and they haven't been able to return on maternity leave, or they've started and it's failed. And and that's where they started their own small businesses, which was really fantastic. So I've seen all sorts of levels of business, and that's given me a slightly different perspective and a whole lot of respect for home-based business owners. And I've seen all the magical things that can happen for families when you do have a rock solid home-based business. There's so much flexibility in that, and it's not just flexibility of time, it's also flexibility on, delivering on your dreams and working out what's really important to you. So with my business angels, we start off with my vision planner, which is a free program that I host on Facebook. And there's a whole bunch of modules in there. And when you're going through and working out your vision, and people would have heard of the law of attraction and vision boards, but they may not understand the science behind it, because it is, when we're putting visual images up in front of us and we're interacting with it on a daily basis, just having made that decision is the very first step, that this is what I want to have happen. And then when it's stimulating your brain every day, there is a fantastic part of our brains called the reticulated activating system. And it's basically our filter. So we have all these different images and ideas and all sorts of things flowing through our brain every day at every moment. And it's the reticulated activating system that will highlight to your conscious mind what it is that it views as being important in your daily life. So I decided at one point, I drive a little blue Kia Rio, which I wanted a blue car for my business when I had originally bought it because it looked good with the branding and things. And when we upgrade, because now there'll be one more child who will learn how to drive on it, I'll be upgrading. So I wanted a silver A1 Audi. And when I decided that I wanted the silver A1 Audi with the black roof on it, which just fits with me, like in my heart, like I knew, yes, that's what makes me feel good, I started to see them everywhere. And keep in mind, I live in regional Queensland and I go to town maybe twice a week. And there was one week where I went in to do some presentations and things in town, and I saw 6 of these little A1 Audis, and I started looking at the number plates to see if it was just the same car, like am I just stalking someone? And it wasn't. They were all different cars. And I thought, that's really cool, because it's like, yes, one day I'll be sort of driving that. And because it comes into our awareness and our brains say, hey, you know, that's what you wanted, is that what you still want? Then when you see things that you want in life, that you want to be able to bring into your reality, we need to acknowledge that and not dismiss it, that it's not a case of, oh, no, I can't afford that because, you know, that's $50,000 that I don't have in my pocket at the moment. But then my logical brain will kick in and say, well, you don't have to buy a brand new one, though I really would like to. And it's my opportunity, if you like, to confirm, yes, that's what I'm wanting. Yes, I do still like the black and the silver combination. Yes, that is for me.
Because otherwise that's like a tug of war. It's kind of like, okay, universe, that's what I want. And then you're pushing it away again because you're going, oh, I can't afford it, or it's not practical, or whatever it is that, you know, your ego or your mind decides to push it away.
Yeah.
So you then...
And then it's like, well, that's not a priority anymore. So it'll start giving us something else.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how what we put our attention on is what we draw to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are focusing on negative aspects of our life, like when my main goal for the next 2 years is to clear our debt and for me to get my health totally back, because I'd had a rocky couple of years with my health. So instead of thinking about I need to pay down the debt, I need to focus on being financially free. Because when we focus on what the outcome is that we're going to achieve once we've gone through and obtained our goal, that is going to draw us much quicker rather than I want to be debt free. Because when you confirm to yourself that, oh, there is debt there, then it will create more debt opportunities for debt. And my husband will come home and say, hey, the bank's giving us more money. And I sit there and go, no. So, yeah, you have to be able to bypass the instant gratification, because we do get these opportunities in these check-ins on a daily basis. And it comes down to those little choices that we make that end up giving us the biggest payoff. It's sort of every time we make a positive choice that takes us on our path towards our goals, that's what sort of anchors us, and it's like laying a foundation so that we have a really firm ground to be walking upon. Whereas, and it allows you to get the habits into place and allows you to become part of the community that you want to. So whether or not that is, people who are solo, successful, home-based business owners who drive A1 Audis. Yes, that's my club. But I live in a rural area. I have chooks roaming around my house, and I am not. My brands wouldn't align probably with the average A1 Audi driver, but there is a particular niche, and then that's sort of what I. With our marketing and things that we do for our businesses, we really need to understand that we don't have this massive broad spectrum of people that we can sell to and support, and unless you're really focused on the outcomes that you want to give to people and the outcomes that you want for yourself as well, then that's when we get really flustered. That's when we hold back on our businesses and, any goal that we have in life, once it's really clear and it's just everything else falls away. It's like you get through the bushes and then suddenly you see the highway and you just go, yay, you're going to get there really quickly. So
the vision's about getting clarity on what it is that you actually do want your life to look like. And once you have that clarity, it's like other things fall into place.
Yeah, and it's because the things that aren't important for your goal, that doesn't fit into that clarity, will end up falling away. And, there's so many books and of all sorts of things about the importance of decluttering, that, it comes down to the Feng Shui principles, that you allow energy to flow around you. And when you're holding on to stuff, whether it be clothes, whether it be, for me, it's office paperwork, because it's like, I never know which business project I'm going to be taking up next. But now I know what I'm going to be focusing on for the next 5 years. And if it's not applying to these 3 business projects immediately, then there's been an awful lot of paperwork go into a particular box that my son will be using to line his budgie cage with over the next couple of months. So you need to free up the space, because every time, and it comes back to what we're seeing, every time you see something, or that you are aware that you have something in storage, it could be a box up in the back of the cupboard, that is still taking up space, and your brain is managing it. So the more that we take out that we don't need, the more productive we are, the easier life gets, and you find that level of contentment. Even when looking around, someone else might walk in and say, well, you have nothing. And it's like, oh yeah, I have everything, because I have everything that I need in this moment to achieve my goals.
Beautiful. There's a lot to be said for space too. And that whole decluttering and having that space available, I find when I do a massive clean out of my house, which I need to do all the time because I have children too. Yeah. As soon as you do it, there is a noticeable shift that you don't realize how heavy things feel until you actually shift them and move them. And I'm not talking about just moving piles of stuff to another space. I'm talking about actually dealing with it, and you either throw it out, give it away, or utilize it. There's really not that many choices that you have to make.
There's a pattern that can happen, because not all of us can release with grace and ease, though we aim to it. And we have, whether it be in our DNA that you have to hold on to things because it may not ever be replaced or whatever. There's a whole bunch of stories that come behind that and support it. But some of us do have this hoarding habit. Mm-hmm. And I'll put up my hand and say, yeah, I have that. And I look at people around me in my family and I go, yeah, it's a DNA thing. So one of the things that can happen is that when we move things around and we get rid of stuff, the first thing that might show up for you is that, damn, a week later, I needed that. Now, It's only happened to me recently. I went through, did a tip run. It was like, right, we're going to the tip, get rid of all this extra stuff. And we threw out a fan, the bottom half of a fan stand, because we live in Queensland and it's like we've got fans going everywhere. We threw out the bottom of the fan stand. Less than a week later, my daughter came home and she needed to make a paper mache tree. That fan stand, that I thought of it and it's like, oh, where is it? Oh, I took it to the tip. So those things will happen, but you have to be prepared because, you know, we are loaded with resources around us. Yeah. So you're always going to find something else. And when we get caught up and in that, oh, but I had that, then that makes it harder to release things the next time. The other thing that can happen is that items, everything has an energy to it. Now, when we move stuff, because when I'm feeling stressed, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, you will literally see it in my house. That I will sort of go and I'm going to declutter my wardrobe, but then it just moves into the bedroom, or you know, I will have comfort. It's like a comfort buffer zone around me. And when we go and move things out of our lives, sometimes instead of feeling fresh and wonderful and terrific, then there can be an echo there because we haven't actually dealt with something. Now, sometimes it can be memories to items. Sometimes it can be a memory of a purpose, which is usually the case, and that we're going to miss an experience or something. So when I was helping lots of mums organise their homes, I saw a pattern. And I would actually know when we were organising their home and doing the declutter and sort of, making their homes gorgeous, that you could see a physical reaction to a space, and it was just something wasn't right. So we got to the point where rather than, like you'll see it on the shows, that they go in, pull everything out and then put everything back in, but that's where things will fail. Whereas we started, I would work, because I'd work with them over a period of weeks, that we would create what I call pockets of peace. So you take a surface and it could just be a cluttered surface, it could just be a bookcase sort of shelf sitting there that, you may have cleared off the books that you didn't really need. And that she's made that decision, I don't need those in my life anymore. She's let it go, but, oh no, there's a blank space there. And there's an urge to refill it again. It would be usually filled with more new books that she'd probably never read.
Yeah.
So we create these pockets of peace and create meaning to it. So that space, whether it be that you pull out those ornaments that you really love, and it can be something from the $2 shop that you bought on a whim and it's sitting in the back of the cupboard somewhere, get it out. Anything that's treasured, you get it out and you display it. And it allows you to interact with it. And what ends up happening is that when you have these pockets of peace sort of all, just dotted throughout your home, it's where the family photos can come out. Get out those photos when you were 4 years old and you were happy, and, your birthday cake where you've got the grin from ear to ear, or, that special moment that you shared with someone. Or it could even just be a tree that reminds you of your backyard, and that symbolises, terrific childhood memories. You get those images out, you put out and display those things that are important to you, and even those crappy clay items that I've got a collection of them in a cupboard that the kids have brought home. Nobody knows what they are, but I know that my kids have enjoyed being creative. So they go up on the pockets of peace. And as you make your way through your home, it reduces the stress levels. Because when you see, you don't even have to, sort of physically focus on them. That, yes, I'm looking at that statue and, that's what it means to me. It's purely that it comes into your awareness. And then it's like this ripple that flows out throughout the rest of the home. And because they relax you, then it sends all the good hormones through your body, which is always good. You're going to be calmer and you become okay with decluttering, because I have had so many clients who have just been in tears. They can't tell me why. It's traumatic for them to go through this process. Whereas when they're able to go through it by creating and replacing a space with something that nurtures them and that gives them the enjoyment that they need in life, then it changes, you know. And I'll come back sometimes. It's usually after the second visit, because the first visit is always like, you've just ripped off the Band-Aid and that hurt a little bit, but I'm just getting used to it. And then after the second visit, I'll come back and they've usually got half of the to-do list done, because they just get into a role, and the family around them will often pick up on it as well. And it's because mum's just a whole lot calmer, and a happy mum does, you know, that energy just flows out to everyone. So, yeah, there's loads of benefits. But, yeah, when those little hurdles are there, when it's, because it's not always easy for all of us, that there are strategies that you can put into place to support you along the way. And, yeah, like, you know, now that we know about that reticulated activating system, Mr. Raz, that, you know, have to leverage him as much as you can.
Definitely. Oh, that's just amazing. Wonderful insight. I think we'll finish up though, because that's quite a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I have to go back and allow some of this to sink back in, because I definitely know with the decluttering, I've been aware of it for quite a few years, and I have noticed with some mums that even though when they start decluttering, there's a lot of resistance, and it's sometimes from within themselves, but then the family will reflect that, and it's a lot harder for them to move through. So definitely,
because change is scary.
It can be.
You know, it can be like if you know what the change is going to give you, then it's not as scary. It's like buying a ticket to a roller coaster ride. I would normally say in Australia, but we have really strong OH&S things in Australia. So you can usually get on, you know, some fantastic ride or, you know, some exhilarating experience, and you can do it fairly confidently, that you know that you're going to be safe, that you're putting yourself into this space to have a particular experience. And that's where creating a vision product can really support you, because you are doing the OH&S work. You are creating, you know what it is that you're going to be doing, you know what it is that you're going to be experiencing, and then that helps you, just to be confident about stepping forward and going into that new space. And, you know, you run it through your mind, that the amount of time that we spend watching other people's realities on TV, whether it's imaginative, because, you know, and I love science fiction shows, and, you know, we have a range of series that I do like to follow, but we watch other people's realities. So why aren't we doing that for ourselves? If you take that half an hour and just go and spend that on creating your own vision and, you know, indulging in it, go and do 2 things every day. That if it's reading 2 paragraphs of a book that you would love to get through, you know, just really simple things like that, changes everything. But yeah, change can be scary. I get it. And I'll put my hand up and say, my husband will sit there and just laugh his head off, and he's like, right. But yeah, I've worked my way around it.
And that's why we need to have a vision process. So that's brilliant. So we're going to wrap up now. Thank you, Marina. That was beautiful, insightful, and I'm going to go back and listen to that again.
Oh, look, thanks for having me. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So I will share the links to where you can find Marina through social media. And I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Thanks, Marina.